Are y'all ready to gug? Gather up Gotchard time. We're talking about episode 45, which, hey, has a very well-defined A plot and B plot. So let's go with the B plot first. As Lotchus is coming off of the memory thingamajig, going like, oh shit, I have memories now. I am more human. And Spanner and Kyoka are just kind of going like, hopefully she won't reject it. Hopefully it's like a good thing for her, right? And then afterwards they're having a conversation with her, and she's like, the person I was based off of was vain and greedy and kind of a shitty person. And they're like going like, oh no, oh fuck. And then she goes like, but she dreamed of being a singer. And that little bit of hope and want actually feels good. And then like understanding that, and they're like, oh hell yeah, fuck yeah, that's good, you know. It's the understanding of good and the bad. It's empathy. She understands and empathizes with the person that she is based off of, right? And I'm scrolling through the episode so I can get to the other scene that's important, because after the day is saved by the rest of the crew, which we'll get to in just a moment, the B plot crew kind of sit down to have some dinner, but Spanner, being male wife, is cooking up for Kyoka and Lotchus and all this different kind of stuff. And the conversation kind of goes to like Lotchus going like, oh, like, no, it was Kyoka going like, oh yeah, no, maybe love might be the next thing to like really kind of ramp up your humanity. And she's like, but who would I love? And Kyoka just points out, well, you did have a weird thing with Spanner for most of the show. What? Yeah, you were weirdly obsessed with him for like a long time. It's almost as if we were building up to this moment. And it's like, oh, maybe. That's interesting. But the A plot is kind of, I wouldn't say basic, but it is very... yeah, it's basic. Hijiri, Kajiki's girlfriend, gets kidnapped by the bad guys to force the memory of the amalgam that's inside of her back out so she becomes a monster again. Everyone's going like, alright, fuck it, we gotta go save her. So Hotaro and Kajiki get on the bike, head on out, go find and save her, right? Everybody else is also like, they're on like recon, they're all like, they're doing their thing, they're helping out. It's just, we gotta get to that point. And there's like, two things are happening. We have Clotho now working with the crew, working with the divination woman, and she goes to Grayon and goes like, hey, I'm doing this just so I can get my family back. I'm not loyal to her, I'm working for her. Can you forgive me when I get the family back together? And he's like, yeah, I understand why you're doing this. It makes sense. It's like, oh shit. So, throughout all this, Hijiri runs away. She's now in the forest. She's distraught, a whole 9 yards. And that's when Hotaro and Kajiki find him. And Hijiri's just like, no, you don't. I don't deserve your love. I'm the sibling of a criminal, which is a weird thing Japan has of like one member becoming a criminal kind of like taints the family. It's a weird thing. Work on that, Japan. Not cool. Don't. Sins of the father and all. And basically she falls into despair as Hotaro is trying to fight off the other monsters while Kajiki's trying to reassure her. However, that doesn't work. She turns back into Amalgam despite all the things Kajiki's doing. And part of it is, I believe, Kajiki getting hurt kind of sends her over the edge. We have a fun fight. They're able to knock the Amalgam out of her. And Kajiki just sits her down and goes like, hey, I care about you. We've done this before. I have went through hell and back because I care about you. I don't give a shit if your brother's an arsonist. I care about you. And she's like, oh, I understand that the empathy and all that kind of stuff. And as they're standing up, that's when they have like a little brief moment with Minato. As Kajiki goes like, hey, she's in turmoil and I don't want that for her. Erase her memory. Make her happy. And if that means erasing her memory of me, I would gladly accept that. Basically saying like, if she can live a better life without me in it, I'm willing to accept it. And she basically was like, fuck you. No, I refuse. I'm not going to take that. And they both have like a beautiful moment together. And Minato's just kind of like cheekily says like, he says like, I'm not going to erase your memories because fundamentally it's wrong. Hotaro's right. And I want to continue the dream of my friend who passed away and now Hotaro into the future. And the day is saved as our crew gives fireworks for Hajiri and Kajiki throughout the night. But we end on a button as an anonymous VTuber. I'll get into the VTubing bits in a second. But an anonymous VTuber unveils the conspiracy from the alchemists that they have been erasing everybody's memories of the monsters. That monsters and chemis are real and everyone is in danger. Memories form the basis of our empathy, that our experiences give us a framework to understand other people's experiences. And really, this episode just resolves what was placed, what was set up last time. Showing how others can and will understand your pain, and how trying to just push them away fundamentally isn't doing anybody any favors, either yours or them. And hell, even in this episode, our villains are truly understanding empathy to an extent, or at least feigning it with Clotho and Grayon. Grayon understands why she's doing the things she's doing, and he kind of like, yo, no, okay, cool, that's the plan. Like, he empathizes with her, and like, there's a connection. You feel like he is manipulative, but he does kind of genuinely care about the three sisters, and that's interesting. This was a pretty good episode. Great action, amazing acting from Kajiki and Hijiri's actors. Really, really cool. Love how the consequences are really starting to roost for our heroes. Of just like, hey, y'all have been playing very fast and loose with humans. Kind of biting you in the ass now. But the biggest thing, the chemis and memory stuff are now out of the basket. Really big implication. Everybody's in the world understands. Not enough. You can't. I don't think they have a Statue of Liberty neuralizer like Men in Black 2. You know what I mean? Also, I find it funny that it's a VTuber. I saw someone somewhere on the internet kind of point out, like, no, that totally makes sense. It's an anonymous person. They can't really track them. That kind of stuff. I also just think it's partially a little wink and a nod to the fact that they used Live 2D to animate all of the chemis. And I think it's like, what is the thing Live 2D is most commonly associated with? It's VTubers. I think that's partially also a little bit there. But with this new information, people may be turning against our heroes. And I wonder if this is fundamentally the work of the Abyss Kings. But, no, it's not the work of the Abyss Kings. My YouTube channel, you can subscribe, you can like, you can comment, do all the things. Follow me on social media platforms. Links are always in the description. And hey, if you would like, you can support me on Patreon as little as $1 a month. We'll get you 4 exclusive videos, a Patreon podcast, and a commentary track on an older video. So on and so forth. I am wrapping up reviewing every episode of Agito. And I am starting Kamen Rider 5. Boy, I'm already 2 episodes in, and I'm enjoying it so far. But, secondarily, going to be talking about gavv. I am not going to be talking on it here. Those videos are going to be uploaded onto Patreon. So, they're going to be completely free in public. They're not behind a paywall. Those are just going to be out there. So, I'll make announcements here on the community tab. You can follow me on Patreon. There's a free version I have on my stuff, so you can just get updates to that. But in the meantime, we have some comments to talk about. First up, from just some random guy. Yeah, it is nice that they're bringing back the should we be erasing people's memories moral issue from earlier on in the season. It's nice to see it back, and it's also nice to see it kind of back, played with, and now escalated with the reveal that now everybody knows their memories have been altered, which is interesting and fascinating. Next up, from Cyber Hero. I appreciate any comment I get whenever I get them, buddy. But yeah, no, I am very much a firm believer in Kamen Rider is a very thematic series, partially because they are themes that act as moralistic lessons for kids, and so the meanings and metaphors inherent in those themes tend to be a lot more blatant. For lack of a better way of describing it, it's like doing literary analysis on easy mode. You know, it's... You know, people joke about the curtain is blue, meaning depression and all this kind of stuff, and people not understanding that, like, all that kind of... That, like, yeah, no, choices made in stories often have a reason why they're being made. It's not arbitrary. Sorry for keep beeping you guys. But... Kamen Rider very much is a person looks at the blue curtain and goes like, man, I'm feeling depressed. And then the entire season is about depression and how we tackle it and how we explain it. And finally, like, the final transformation is taking that blue curtain and covering yourself and using your understanding of your own depression to become a better hero. Like, that's what Kamen Rider is. It's taking a theme, an idea, and extrapolating it and turning it into bigger, larger, moralistic lessons that can be explained to kids in easy enough ways. Like, classic example I can think of, O's. O's is all about moderation. It's not about excess. It's not about going without. It's about moderation. That's why the bad guys are called greed. That's why the ultimate berserk power-up is fundamentally a nullification of desire, right? It's all about moderation, you know? Of course, we can talk about Fourze and Friends, and I brought up depression, then we have fucking Wizard right there. It's funny, you know? It's kind of funny. But... I relent. Thank you for the comment. I just get on the tangent about themes in Kamen Rider. Next up, from the Fish Pop. Fish Pop bringing up that the female king is able to bring back the Kemi memories and turn them back into amalgams is like something I didn't mention. I thought I mentioned it. Maybe I didn't. I probably didn't. I'm not going to go back. I'm just going to keep moving forward because I'm a pig-headed idiot. But it does totally make sense with what we're dealing with, memory and empathy and growth as a person, all this different kind of stuff, that much in the same way that the erasing of the memories is a bad thing. Stop beeping. That fundamentally the core of their experiences is still there and thus can be brought back out. I think it's a nice parallel. And, yeah, fies and miscommunication seems to be a thing that a lot of people are... Look, I've watched the first 2 episodes, and I immediately was like, oh, a lot of people are idiots. They're doing a thing here. It's not an accident. They're doing a thing here. But if you want to hear my thoughts on that, just go support me on Patreon and see those videos as they come out. Next up, from Esconde. Yeah, it'd be nice to see some spin-off material for a lot of the characters here in Gotchard. And hey, if this always sold well, they'll make the spin-off material. That's just a given. And considering that it's cards, they could probably keep printing cards for, like, at least another year. Didn't they do that with, like, Decade? And this isn't a critique it's more of like a minor. No, wrong way. This isn't a complaint. This is a critique. This is like one artist talking to another artist kind of style. The show is very much a happy-go-lucky monster of the week thing with the underlying current of talking about the morals of memory and empathy and all that kind of stuff. And it feels like there's a strange push and pull there. And depending on who you might ask, they probably would have wanted it pushed or pulled and in slightly different directions. But hey, that's the nature of the beast. And like I brought up earlier, the amalgam factor, the little bit of the amalgam still inside people. Hey, the connections you make are still present. The Kimmy connection they had is still present, as is the negative emotions that can be a part of that. Every person you come across has a little part of you in them. That's how we move forward as humanity, and that's how we're going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I hope you have a good day. I would like to give a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Esconde, Scott Firestein,